recording several times, and each time it's been harder to do because I really don't know how to approach this or come at this. And I think I'm just going to be completely honest with myself and call it like it is. Because no matter how many times I look at this, I can't make excuses for the guy anymore. And yeah, we're just gonna get into this. So, James Gunn. I was gonna talk about this on the podcast, and those plans kind of got moved around because right now there's a lot of moving parts going on with that. But excuse me. But anyway, this all started when tweets he had made between 8 and 10 years ago were brought forward and made public to Disney, in which he was making very, very edgy and tasteless jokes about child molestation and rape and things of the sort, which led to him being terminated from Disney, which ultimately left it left the fate of Guardians of the Galaxy 3 in limbo, and it was just announced that the movie is currently on hiatus until they figure out what they're doing next, which we'll get into at the end of this. So, as soon as James Gunn was released, there was a lot of media and public outcry coming to his defense, speaking out against him. The cast even wrote a letter stating how they felt working with him and how he wasn't that guy of old and he's a changed man and how they would want to work with no one else. Some of the people took to social media to overly defend him, people like Dave Bautista. And it took me a little while, and I flip-flopped on this because honestly, I don't know how to really approach this. I'm just a guy. I'm a man. And really, the Guardians movies were something to me which made me fall in love with the Marvel Cinematic Universe officially. I liked the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it wasn't until the first Guardians movie that I felt like this could be like something of mine all over again. You know what I mean? When you watch a movie for the first time in like a series of movies and you're just like, yes, this felt like it was made for me. And that's what that movie felt like to me. It was about a group, a ragtag group in the Marvel Universe that nobody had heard of or was familiar with. Marvel took a gamble, took an all-star cast, and made a great movie. A funny movie, an entertaining movie. And then they made a sequel, which was good. So now we get to here. And at first, I was against Gunn and the comments that he made. And then I was starting to come around and say to myself, you know what? He deserves more. You know, people deserve a second chance. I don't like being told I don't have the ability to come back from stupid mistakes and stuff that I said in the past before. So I was slowly working my way around it. That wasn't until I was made aware of some other information that came to light. Apparently, it was photos of a party that he attended in which the theme was alleged pedophilia. Although, depending on which site you're reading the information off of, they claim it was based off of To Kill a Predator, or like To Hunt a Predator, or To Kill a Predator. I don't remember, but it had James Gunn dressed up as a priest. Other adult men dressed up as like creepy adult figures. Like one guy was dressed up as like a creepy stalker clown. Grown women dressed to look like very young children and very like revealing ensembles. And apparently it was supposed to be a very edgy party in which it was making a mockery at the subject material. Now, I don't... The question people are going to ask is this new? Is this old? I don't care. Because to me, that right there proves that the comments, when you make stupid jokes like that on social media, I mean, whatever. But then when you take it one step further and you start attending special theme party where it's implied that children are being fondled or even worse, that's where I draw the line. And people can comment and say what they want, but you know what? It's all about the company that you choose to keep and the people you choose to follow. And at the end of the day, I refuse to want to support someone who thinks it's funny to crack jokes about making sexual unwanted advances on children and then dressing up as a priest implying organized or promoting figures in organized religion committing sexual acts on children. And this is coming from a guy who actually made claims that that a priest at his grammar school had in fact committed rape. So on one hand, he's an activist for the cause, and then the next minute he's making a mockery of it. And to which I'm like, I understand making jokes in light of something to take some focus off of it and put some perspective on it. But at the same time, like we're talking about a grown adult here. There's no humor in that. I don't think joking about sexually molesting a child to be funny. Now, and I've heard other comedians do bits like that. Like I remember Christopher Titus did a bit years ago where he was basically talking about like if the Catholic Church had taken more of a capital punishment role as far as prosecuting people within their organizations who have been accused of doing that to children, like actually taking matters into their own hands. And we're talking like some scorched earth punishments. Like that's one thing because you're made your stance very much against it, and you're not making a mockery of it. And after seeing those pictures, it just goes to show me that I don't necessarily think this is something like if this was a phase, it was a deep-seated phase he was in. Okay, and it takes quite a bit to go to themed parties like that and be okay with yourself. That's where I am. So maybe I'm making a position on it that I don't agree with, and I'm not going to put the photos up here. I recommend going and looking them up yourself. Very, very suggestive, very creepy in nature. There's no nudity or anything like that. Thankfully, everyone in them is above age. But then I did a little digging and found some more information that really made me unsettled. Like, it really... it was really unsettling. And pretty much a lot of stuff that Gunn was into, a lot of parody videos in which he was making reference to underage girls, to very inappropriate song titles, and including how he at one point was friends with a woman who was charged for soliciting a minor to appear on a pornographic movie, was found in possession of child pornography, and is now a registered sex offender. So, putting all of that together, I will give him the benefit of the doubt that he is not a rapist, he's not a child molester, but he is somebody who with a very sick sense of humor. And given the fact that these apologies did not happen until after these original tweets were found, I really don't know how to feel about all of this. I'm very conflicted. It's kind of like finding out a hero or someone you kind of look up to. You find out like this side of them, and it's really upsetting, and it breaks my heart. It does. So I can't defend him any further. I can't. Everything that came to light, I can't defend him. If anyone else feels as though they can, I'm not holding it against you. I'm not thinking negatively of you. I don't judge you. You clearly are at a place where you feel like you can. I ask that you respect where I'm at, because currently, like, that's where my heart is. It's very broken on the subject. I was coming around and giving him the benefit of the doubt, and then all of this other information broke out, and then his friendships with people who had ties in this, and I swear to God, if any news comes out where there was a situation in which a kid was involved, the outcry is going to be insane. The actors that originally supported this guy are going to be, they're going to be barbecuing him in record numbers. He is going to fry. So, because of that, Disney at one point was Marvel was at one point trying to appeal to Disney, trying to reconsider their decision to hire back Gunn. Obviously, when the news of those pictures broke out, as well as his other affiliations, clearly Disney was like, we're not doing this. We have to appease the mouse, and we just can't. We have an image to uphold. We're one of the most powerful companies on the planet Earth. We really can't be known affiliates to people who have these kind of ties. Like, they have an image to keep, and people are still upset. I'm not quite there as far as understanding that upsetness, but yeah, at the end of the day, Disney is a business, and they have to do what's best for business. They have to do what's best for their image. So anyway, so now Guardians 3 is on hiatus because the cast at this point is very particular with who they want to work with. They've made it very clear they want to work with Gunn, and they were told that they're freed up to work on whatever project they want to work on, because as it stands right now, Gunn is not coming back, and the future of the movie is kind of up in the air. So, who knows what'll happen? I personally, I'm a little disappointed, because this would have been the movie in which we get some answers question as far as like post-credit scenes and mid-credit scenes from Guardians 2 involving Adam Warlock and basically other characters and things like that. But I'm kind of rambling at this point. But there's still other Marvel movies to choose to go and see. The Phase 4 movies are still looking like to be pretty deep, and chances are this movie's probably just going to get pushed back another year or two, which at this point I don't see that necessarily being a bad thing. They're probably just the actors are probably going to be finishing up the last Infinity War movie, and we'll probably not hear from them again until they filming for the third Guardians movie is underway. But who knows when that'll happen. So yeah, I think I'm going to leave this as it is. It has my direct thoughts, how I feel, and I really want to emphasize again, like, all the information brought forth, like, literally is as it stands. I'm trying to be as unbiased as fair. I gave the guy an honest shot, but as it stands right now, I can't. I worked with a youth group, and there has been a time or two where, I don't want to mention names or situations, but it was implied that people have had issues at home, and one person in particular claimed that they had a drunken father who had at one point nearly committed a heinous act on them. And that's why I find humor in that regard not funny. Joking about making a sexual advance on a child is not funny. Dressing up as a priest or a clown or as some pedophile and posting pictures of yourself with grown women who are dressed to look like 4, 5, and 6-year-olds with their butts hanging out of mini skirts and trying to look terrified and innocent like they're being preyed upon. I don't find that shit funny. That's a sick, twisted sense of humor. If you're talking about negative punishment on these terrible people, yeah, we can laugh at that because we're laughing at their pain. And that's okay, because these are disgusting people, and that's part of a healing process. But to joke about a terrible act and make it sound like, oh, it's funny because it's not real. No, it's not funny. And that's where I'm going to leave it at that. And let me know what you think if you want to comment. If we bring it up again in the podcast, I guarantee you it'll probably be a lot more brief than this. So that's going to do it for now. You all have a good one, and I'll see you on the next time on Bumble Versus.